Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As I told you for many months already, the United States of America will provide Ukraine with everything short of nuclear weapons and I don't know, aircraft carriers for the Black Sea. They, how should I put it, they fulfill my model, my mountain slope model that I have. They didn't come and tell us, hey, we're going to give Ukrainians F-16s or something. We're going to give the Ukrainians tanks. We're going to give Ukrainians this kind of artillery systems and all that, or missile systems. No, they're saying it now. But they first said, oh, we're going to give them some blankets, some, little by little, and we're going to give them some helmets and some rifles, and now they come and say, we're going to give them heavy tanks and we're going to give them airplanes. They couldn't say this, they were not able to say this, 7 months ago because the population was not ready. Now they figured the population is ready since the population did not push back to anything they built up to this point. So then population did not push back, mass media did not push back, yeah, we're going with it. And the Russians are going to do what? Use nuclear weapons probably. If they're losing conventional war, don't expect them just to bend over and take it dry. So this article comes from Popular Mechanics, and it says here from September 26, 2022. And it says heavy hitting American tanks are, quote unquote, on the table for Ukraine's army. We knew that. I've been waiting for this. You kept me waiting for 7 months now. Come on, man, be a little bit more efficient. And, last week, a senior U.S. official stated that advanced tanks are on the table for Ukraine. The statement is a major change of policy. It just announced it to us, but we knew it's coming. At least in this area, we kind of knew. The statement is a major change of policy. Okay? And buoyed by Ukraine's successful counteroffensive in the east. If they're winning, then why do you give them more? What do you need? It's like, don't change. If things are working, don't change anything. All right, tanks like the American M1 Abrams appear likely as long as Ukrainian forces prove the ability to operate and maintain them. It's not going to be Ukrainians. Don't worry. It's going to be contractors like the HIMARS. Remember retired U.S. Colonel Douglas McGregor? I made a video on that. And he said, there's no way the Ukrainians are operating the HIMARS. And he says, in order to operate those missile systems, you need much more training than a weekend. He said, and I repeat this 10,000 times, only the driver over there needs to do like 1,100 tasks complete just to make sure that he puts the information on the whatever. So he said, those are contractors. That's what he says. So, I don't know about Abrams, you can say, well, a tank is a tank. Not really. If we want to start, let's start with the alphabet. That's a different alphabet. And the little switches and buttons and whatever the computer over there is not something that you learn in a week. I'm assuming. They should be more complicated than that. It's a lot of technological connection between what radars you got with whomever gives you the information and so on. It's not that you learn it right now. Besides, you need to learn English. Do you think that all Ukrainians know English? Not all, but I would say most do not. So let's go and see what's going on here to maintain them, operate and maintain them. For the first time, U.S. officials stated last week that advanced Western-style tanks are absolutely on the table for Ukraine. We knew this, buddy. Thank you very much. Now they're at the mountain top after they build it up with this, which I explained it many times. They start slow and then end up, and then now they're on a mountain top and they take the bullhorn and say, we're gonna give them tanks, and everybody's like, we knew. We're gonna give them airplanes, we knew. We're gonna give them bombers, we knew. All these things. So it's not a surprise here. No, short of nuclear weapons, that's all. For the first time, yeah. The statement is a reversal of policy that meant mostly defensive weapons would be provided to the beleaguered Eastern European country. Now it's in its 7th month, warding off a Russian invasion. Modern tanks like the American M1 Abrams would allow Ukraine to take back most, if not all, of its territory lost to Russian forces. They didn't reverse shit. That was the plan all the way. They reversed what they told us. We see it as a reverse. Oh my God, but we need it. They had to build the whole thing for us, for the little fish. No, they just cast a lure and like up. Why? Because we got hungry. The same here. They created the whole situation. Oh, look what's happening. The Russians are doing this, the Russians are doing that. Now the Ukrainians, let's help. They created this, and now we're hungry, which means we're prepared. They can cast the bait. And we like immediately jump on it like a hungry fish. All right, well, in a discussion on September 19th with Pentagon reporters, a reporter for NPR mentioned that the Ukrainian delegation had visited Washington, D.C. and pushed for the U.S. government to provide tanks to Ukraine. A senior defense official replied that the Biden administration was constantly looking at what Ukraine needed at this particular moment and also what it would need further down the road, end quote. Tanks are absolutely on the table along with other areas, he, end quote. All right, well, what can you do? Good. Ukraine, unlike the tanks already delivered, the official clearly hinted that he or she was referring to Western style tanks. NATO countries have heaped billions of dollars of aid onto Ukraine, including approximately 300 main battle tanks. These tanks, procured from Poland, Czech Republic, North Macedonia, and Romania, are patterned on Soviet Cold War tanks, especially the T-72 series of main battle tanks. Okay, well, what can you do? Give them more. They give the rest of the article tells us what kind of tanks and what specifications they received. So Abrams 1 tanks. Okay, tanks, that's good. Give them. The problem is, who's going to be able to operate them after 2nd of October? Is going to be anybody around to operate them? I don't think so. I don't wait for that. But these guys they don't care. They just go ahead with this. I don't know. It's they really think the Russians are bluffing. I mean, the Russians explained clearly this is a red line over there, red tape, line in the sand, explained clearly. And these guys are doing exactly that. Those guys said, we're going to defend our country with anything that we have, including nuclear weapons, obviously. Read their protocol for using nuclear weapons. I think once these territories that right now are attacked to be reconquered, liberated only by Ukrainians, they will come under the Russian jurisdiction after the referenda ends. That means there would be Russian territory coming completely under the jurisdiction of the Russian Federation's constitution. Therefore, be defended with whatever means necessary. Then what? Send them 3,000 tanks. These guys are going to bomb you. I hope not, but if they send it, I suspect that they will. What do you think Russia will do? Allowing those guys to go and push them back, if that's the case, I don't think that's a scenario, is it? Well, that's what these guys want. And this guy, that I don't see that as a scenario that the Russians will agree with. What's the other option? Keep them over there and push them back with conventional? These guys are upping their military, the weapons they give the Ukrainians. Are the Russians able to counter? I don't know, we'll see. Do you think they want more losses, the Russians? Or just say, okay, now let's see what happens. Well, the same thing I say, let's see what happens. As Putin said, let's wait to see the end. Yeah, so don't say anything until the final whistle blow by the referee is blown in the arena. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be anybody to blow that whistle, but good luck to us. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.